Can't see myself, but... How's it going, guys? How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and you're joining me in a very hot garage. But it's gonna get a little bit cooler. God, that's a horrible pun. That is a horrible pun. How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today is an awesome day in my garage because I have one of the cars that pretty much made my childhood. Okay, I'm lying. It's a Yugo. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm kicking off this new series of me taking a look at really interesting automobiles and, dare I say, quirky cars in my garage with this thing. This is a 1986 Yugo GV, and this was famous for being pretty much the cheapest thing you can get with a motor, a steering wheel, and 4 wheels. This, at the time of its inception, was $3,995. And while you might think, wow, that's a really good deal, they did skimp on a lot of the quality. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna take a look at everything in this car, but not only the interesting features or lack thereof. We're gonna put it on the lift, we're gonna go underneath the car and let you look at the awesome mechanical prowess that the engineers had when they designed this thing, because you guys, you gotta see this. This is insane. This is one of my favorite things about the door. Ooh, that's just so solid. The door itself is actually pretty heavy for a car this small, and it's so satisfying. Hopefully I don't break anything, but yeah, that is a good sound. All right, on to the car. Well, okay, we are two large dudes in a very small car, and it's a hot garage, so do with that information what you must. But this is Austin. He has an awesome YouTube channel called Austin's Garage, and this Yugo is actually the subject of a bunch of your videos.
I make videos on this. I have another Yugo, and then I have an old postal Jeep that I'm just trying to make not crap.
Wow, yeah, okay. So, yeah, if you like really crappy cars kind of made into daily drivers, then hit him up. I will have all that stuff in the description below. But right now, we're looking at this Yugo, and actually, this was the Yugo that was in Doug DeMura's video, right?
Yeah, he came down from Philadelphia, and he made a video on the car,
right.
And since then, I can't drive anywhere with it without people asking, is that the car from Doug's video?
Right, right. Okay, yeah. So Doug made this guy famous, but hopefully we can help him out a little bit more. So what can you tell me about this interior that people don't already know? People know that this interior is really, it's not the best quality, to be perfectly honest. There are panel gaps everywhere, but it is all here. It is original. I see a original cassette deck. I see the original, it's not a climate control, it's more like a...
it lets some air in.
It just lets some air in. What should I know going, like, what are these for, these blank switches here?
Those do nothing in the GV, but you get the GV Plus, those do something.
So even in a car that was $3,995, there were still, you should have worked harder switches. Does the speedometer work?
No.
Okay, does the fuel gauge work?
No.
Fuel gauge does not work. Okay.
It moves. It goes from empty to half full, but
okay.
It doesn't matter regardless of how much is in there.
So FM, AM.
FM, AM.
That was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
FM. That sort of works, right?
It works. You have to hold the...
All right, here's how good a Yugo's radio reception is. Radio's on, it's staticky as hell. Do it. All right, well, there we go.
But it's a cool car. I mean, you can't get any other car for $1,000 that gives you this kind of experience.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You have a home wiring... sort of
light switch, yes.
Yeah, like a kitchen light switch. What's that about?
The radiator fan just wasn't working. Once I ruled out the radiator fan wasn't working, I figured I could just home wire it in. I need to get an aftermarket switch panel, but...
Why don't you just wire it into a relay that gets turned on with your accessory drive?
Because I didn't think of it.
Because all you had was a switch and like...
all I had was a switch, and I saw it and I'm like, this will do. So every time I drive, I just reach down, flip the switch, and it works.
See, I love that you adopted... Not only did you buy this car later on, after this car was already old and used, but you've adopted the Yugo mentality.
I have.
This is exactly what they would have done.
Anybody that owned one, that they would have used a light switch, the exhaust they'll see is duct tape. The thing with the Yugo, you can't spend too much money on it because I mean, even though I'm not planning on ever selling it,
right.
I don't want to drop too much money into it because it's a Yugo.
What I think we should do is we should go under the hood and kind of root around in there, and then put the car up, and we can look at the underpinnings of this awesome machine.
Everything that is wrong with it. I've never had it up on a lift, so we'll.
Ooh, okay.
It's first time for me as well.
Yeah, so lift version. Okay, let's do that. Oh yeah. So that is a 1.1 liter Fiat engine with a carburetor on top, making how much power?
It said it came with 45. I'm guessing it makes substantially less now.
All right, so 45 when it was brand new, and that is a spare tire. That is also part of the crumple zone, but there's a weird, interesting, deadly quirk with that thing, because apparently when you crash this thing hard enough, that'll cut off your legs. So I know that it might seem like an airbag, like it's kind of a natural air cushion, but that steel portion pretty much acts like a guillotine for your nether regions. So if you have this car, don't crash. This is an engine bay from 1986, and it actually is pretty clean. Even if you did clean it, it's not in bad shape. I don't see a whole ton of rust. Down here, you usually see these things rust out. But it's in really, really good shape. It's a tiny radiator. Look at that. Do you know if this cap actually works?
No, never attempted to open it.
Okay.
It cools the car, so I don't touch it. If it works, don't fix what ain't broken.
Okay, well, that is a very Yugo thing to say. So that's the engine. It's front-wheel drive, obviously. 4 forward gears with a really lanky, really weird shifter. Let's get it up in the air and see what's underneath. Ta-da! Okay, let's see what this thing has in store for us. There actually isn't a lot going on down here. It's very, very Spartan. So here you see the shifter linkage and that really, really janky shifter linkage. Actually, it looks almost like you can tighten that bolt right there and fix it. So we might do that and give Austin a little better car than he came here with. But if you take a look at this exhaust, those of you who are complaining about my welding in my Mercedes video, take a look at this. This is actual chicken shit welding. It might not even be chicken shit, it looks like dog shit welding. That's really, really bad. I don't know how that works. And you can see that it's leaking all over the place here. Follow that back, and this looks like an aftermarket cat. It's a 2-inch cat, and they got it down to a 1 3/4, then a 1 1/2. This is a tiny, tiny exhaust. But then again, it's a tiny engine. It's only 1100 cc's. And that goes into another back box that's welded horribly. And that's actually resting on the e-brake cable. That is a structural component at this point because look, I'm touching the e-brake cable and it's moving the exhaust. And is that insulation up there? Is that duct tape that we see on the exhaust?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, cool. So it's very well insulated. It's a racing mod. Yeah. That's awesome.
It adds an extra 10 horsepower.
Adds an extra 10 horsepower. That's great. Maybe, I mean, I have some more. You can add some more horsepower. Let's go up to the front of the car and take a look at the engine, which is. Let me get some more light on here. Is this fuel or oil that's leaking out from here?
Oil.
Oil. That could just use a bit of a snug up. And the rest is, I mean, there's weeping everywhere. It's sort of like an old diesel, like my old F350. It leaks from everywhere, but it's not really too concerning. Those there's axle boots that are ripped, and they make a clanking sound, but that's not such a big deal. But look how rudimentary this setup is. This is the anti-sway bar. It's the anti-roll bar rather, and it's just slotted in on the control arm. And there's no end links or anything. It's just literally slotted in and bolted down, and there's no adjustment. What I like is that there are front disc brakes, and for a car that's $4,000 in 1986, that's actually a big deal. It didn't have discs in the rear. There goes my circuit breaker. Don't live in Florida, people. It's really hot. Circuit breakers go all the time. Okay, so Austin just found something really interesting. So apparently they cut this thing in situ, and where they cut the old cat out, you can see that the hacksaw made its way into the car right there. So yeah, that's fun. Honestly, this car I like the design of this car. Everything it looks sturdy. There isn't any real egregious rust that I see. I mean, my 99 Lexus is way worse than this, and especially considering that this car was thin-skinned to begin with, it is in remarkably good shape. This is an all-original car, and it definitely looks like it. It is a driver, and it does have a lot of faults, but nothing that I would consider really, really bad. I mean, you should definitely change those ball joints and axle boots, but yeah, it looks real good, man. And it's actually, what the hell are these things?
No clue.
What's that? That almost looks like something that they'd use for shipping or transporting, because they're on both sides, and it looks like they'd slot in something for like a forklift or something. So if any of you know in the comments what these things are for, if they're for an extra, I don't know, set of rock rails or you know, a ski holder or something, just let me know in the comments. But I'm interested in knowing what that is. But man, this thing is awesome. Thanks for bringing it, Austin.
No problem.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go take this thing for a ride, and honestly, I don't know if I want to record the ride review, because you guys have seen ride reviews in the past, especially with this car. Doug's done one, Doug DeMuro, if you haven't seen that. But you let me know. Would you like me to take the cars that I'm going to get in my garage on a ride and then give you my impressions, or do you like just seeing the mechanical parts, or do you want both, or whatever? Let me know in the comments. It's a team effort, and I enjoy every feedback, every piece of feedback that you guys give me. So yeah, thanks for that. But I will end the video there. So as always, I'd like you to subscribe if you like this video. It would really, really help me out. If you'd like to support me and what I do and the work I do on cars, and you want to see cars like this and cool people like Austin show up, you can actually go in the link in the description and buy one of my shirts. This is a Wrench Everyday shirt. This one isn't for sale because it's mine, and it's also very sweaty, but you can get one of your own, and it can be actually pretty clean, but I want you to get it dirty. That's right. These shirts are for wrenching, so if you buy a shirt, I want you to send me a picture, and I will show it on my channel, how dirty it gets, and what car mods you guys do with the shirts on. I want to see all that stuff, and that would make me really happy. But if you'd like to contact me for any reason, you want to ask me a question or tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. That is @TheRealTavarish, and Facebook.com/AskTavarish. AskTavarish@gmail.com is my email, and I do get to every single email. All right, so this is me in my really hot garage, and this is me telling you that life is too short to drive boring cars.